We're going to talk about who the breakout candidates from the 2023 recruiting classes are, why I need to keep your eyes out for them here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there for tuning in, subscribing to the show. We love having you here in the comment section. And so we're going to look at the 2023 recruiting class as we continue this series, and we'll get into 2022 on tomorrow's episode. But 2023, man, keep it a buck. That was one of OU's highest rated recruiting classes, and a lot of those kids are gone. Like, when I went through, I think more than half of them are gone. That's basically what it is when you look at it. But you still have retained some bigger name players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that you hope can show up and show out for you. And so when I went through this list, I was scrolling. I said, man, the 23 recruiting class did kind of disappear. But there's some players on here, especially on defense, that you all should keep your eyes open for. Like, for example, one name that I believe is probably going to have the biggest year of all of them in the 23 class, Sammy Omosigho. I think it's time for the top 100 linebacker to actually go out there, take command on the field, and be like Kip Lewis was for us the last couple of years. I think that Sammy's at the point now where I think he's gonna excel, especially because he's followed behind Danny Stutzman. Now he's learned a little bit from Kip. He's played a little bit of cheetah. He's played on the inside. And I think by season's end, he's gonna be working closely with Kip and Kobe and rotating in quite often. He may end up being one of your better linebackers this year. He's already put on some bulk, so you feel comfortable with the size that he is toting out there. So I personally, when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I just need to know if Sammy Omosigho is going to hit the field. And when me and John talked through it, I'm like, yeah, I see him taking a spot. He's already at almost 240 pounds at 6'1", and being a true junior, he's played a lot of snaps. So the experience component is what's going to help Sammy be able to really blossom. It should have clicked. It should click now. Should be there. Boom. He's got the speed. He's got the power. Now you got to do start running through stuff. And it's funny, when I was at the Crimson Combine, I chatted with him. I afterwards went out to the field, was hanging out with Reggie Powers and Reggie Powers III. And if y'all saw me on social media, you follow me at Unfair Sports. I took a picture with Kendall Doby. Me and him kind of chopped it up. It was good to see that he's gotten healthy, but Sammy came over to us, and he looks not only huge for his size, he looks bigger than 6'1", but we'll not say much after that. But when I chatted with him, I asked him about the coaching staff, and he really raved about Coach Dreiling as well as Coach Goodwin. And he really talked about Coach Dreiling and how he has made it really easy for the linebackers, even easier than what they got out of Zach Alley at the time, in really encompassing all the information from what Brent Venables wants to do, as well as being better. And they laughed and joked about it, but overall, they raved about that coaching hire. It's like, oh man, he's changed it for us, and we feel even more comfortable with him. And of course, they're excited about Brent Venables calling the plays, because I believe Brent has called some in practice. So since Venables has called those before, they understand kind of the aggression they're going to get out of them. They're like, yeah, we're ready for that to happen. And so because of how Sammy raved about it, made me say, all right, I think he's going to be the dude that's going to really jump out this year. But you've got other candidates. I mean, you've got Jacoby Johnson. We talked about him last episode. PJ Adeboware, we need that out of the 5-star plus guy. I mean, he's considered top 10 player in his class, especially because of his size, but he's also dealt with a lot of injuries. And so if he's healthy and those ankles holding up, he could have it. And then, of course, your other 5-star, Peyton Bowen, you've been waiting to see him show you the athleticism. He was dealing with the toe deal. Chatted with him on the field, and he told me that, oh yeah, I'm way better than I was the last 2 years. He's like, I had that turf toe deal, got it fixed. I'm actually in a much better place. And so as long as there's no setbacks, I expect that to be a big deal. I expect them to show up. But I think Sammy's going to be the one that jumps out the most. Honorable mention is probably going to be Peyton Bowen. He needs to have that year. He's taking over for Billy Bowman. And because of that, and Billy's mentioned it before, that he feels like once it really clicks for Peyton, he's going to be that dude because he's so athletic. He's freakishly athletic. He has the ability. He's just got to be healthy and then go out there and make it happen. But on offense, man, I struggled. I mean, you really only got like a couple of dudes on the offensive side for the most part. Not really only a couple, but I think you got like 4. I mean, you got K. McIntyre, who's back, Heath Ozida, who's on the roster, Logan Howland, who's on the roster, and that's it. That's your offensive dudes from the 2023 class. Yes, you got 3 dudes left. And I'm not joking. When I scrolled through and looked, I'm like, man, there's no way these are the only offensive players we have. And when I scrolled through and say, yeah, those are the only offensive players we have left. That class, poof, disappeared. So that's also why when we talk about how Oklahoma's going to have to play this year and then going into next, we talked about last year how young the team is. It is. It's a lot of 24s. I mean, you got some 22s mixed in there, and we'll talk about them in more detail tomorrow, but it's a lot of 24s. We're super, super young last year, and you felt it. And now you're going to start seeing, okay, we know what we're supposed to do, adding in the transfers, build the chemistry. We should excel next year. So, bold take I've got out of that one, man, is Sammy Omosigho is going to get you, say, about 5 sacks. Think he gets you about 5 turnovers, too. Mixture of forced fumbles, recovered fumbles, interceptions. But I think he can get you 5 sacks, 5 on the turnover side. Sammy Omosigho should be able to get you all of that. On the offensive side of the ball, mainly because we don't really have that many people left, I think that Logan Howland sees considerable. Actually, I think him and Heath Ozida sees considerable snaps this season. And not because of injury. I think it'll be a good rotation piece, especially because Heath is going to should be healthy this year. Logan's got healthy. Both of them, coming off the shoulder stuff. And last year was, just kind of tossed them in there. I expect them both in working with this really good defensive line, learn the techniques needed to be able to defend against them going forward and be able to actually, like I said, see some considerable time on the field. So I have high expectations for them, but man, it's kind of crazy when you look at it, how many people are gone from the 2023 recruiting class. Woo. Me and John's going to break down how many's gone and kind of what that means next time we talk. EA Sports has dropped their rankings. Let's talk about it next up here on Locked On Sooners.